Today we begin with the Six of Cups, reminiscing over the past and moving forward together in bliss and harmony and commitment to ourselves and each other. Protected and held in mind with Miao Shan, the Princess of Mercy. Giving is receiving, and the energy of the universe is merciful. Reminded of Pluto. The changes come and go, and one is always in alignment, truly, with who they are. At the same time, there seems to be always two sides to every story, and a distance to be traveled while holding on to that which is valuable that others need from us, while neither end can give in entirely. Knowing that every single human being upon this earth has this big mission for themselves, for each other, for the whole, and whatever names they want to put upon it, of country, of deity, of religion, of locale, or oath. There's only one mission, and it brings us back to think about Egypt in another way, and how one could say that the first Masons in history are said to be the stonemasons that built the pyramids. Although that was the entirety of the populace, nearly the most important part that was housed at the job site with their families, paid great wages, taken fully care of, where insurance and all that was built in, and family was all there, while the wives made the meals for those that were working, and all they were doing is building the tomb of the king who was, but he was just chosen as God's representative, as being innocent and thrown into that position, and knowing the true mercy that all were working for him, and he was working for them apart from himself even, while the power to the throne, besides those working on the wonderful prospect and engineering and eternal building to remind the universe and everyone in the future of something greater that humanity must work on together. The sorcerers behind the throne were his and their protectors, rather than trying to do anything absurd and maintain any kind of control. They had to maintain the balance as the priests, and more than that, because before Akhenaten, everyone could appeal to their own God, while God was missing in singular, and he was sitting on the throne apart, while every human being carried with him and her in their soul to work together in unity, working for a single cause, regardless of changes, and each had their process of going to cut the stones, of finding the location, of those that helped transport it, of those that moved it on the river, those that took it off the river, moved it to the building site location, those that were putting things in place and preparing each location, along with the human element of all the things needed to be provided for there even to be a city and a family and a country, and all for one and one for all. Wonderful love. Which brings us to the number one thing of all things is desire. Absence makes the heart grow fonder. Strongly wishing, craving, wanting, or setting one's heart on something. His two M's being Scorpio and Virgo. Balance and the stinger. The virgin and the mother who carries all the babies upon her back. And each, when they leave, lives in isolation until their death or until mating. But all are connected. Without desire, there is nothing. To live a life apart from what one wants and to not have anything left that one wants is an empty life, which ends up being, for many, a place of middle age crisis, but there's a later in life crisis beyond the midlife crisis, which many submit in a new way during their midlife crisis, and then every seems to give up later in life and return to being a child while maintaining being a boss over everyone, and gives up upon learning and serving. And so we're reminded of Ansu, a God, communicator, and leader within each of us, and a duty to work for the whole, especially once we begin to break down and the service of our community and welfare and all those, everything is providing for us, but we're having an excuse to be incapacitated or to run away or to play. But all those things have to come together: the running away, the playing, the free time to plan alone or to do one's own thing doesn't take away from the younger version where one is all love in motion and action and building and uh, together while in competition. The competition leaves, and we see how great every single one of us is and how great our mission is individually and together. And lastly, we were reminded to pull back to Isis. Faith and wisdom in all things. None is greater than any other. However you want to spell that. None. The none, in retrospect and casting forward, we see is, in one way, is Newt. She's the stars in the sky, and each of us is one of them. While here on earth, oblivious to that truth of how our interconnectedness or not, that is both provided by Universal Father and Mother, along with the other half of Noon, is the ground. And our bodies, separately, we own, and apart from owning, due to the mind never being able to actually have a location within our own bodies and being somehow separated from the world as the deity apart from all things, and the body being our own possession apart from possession that each of us has to ourself and comes from a singular world apart from all minds to us, along with our names, which do not necessarily, especially belong to us because they were given and they were marked before we could ever claim them and use our own name for our own representation. And so one's name cannot be used against oneself necessarily, and each must make a name for themselves in themselves, regardless of changing a name or taking full responsibility and control for one's own name, as each mind is the no name, who is Christ. Apart from Christ, because that would be the point at the very back, all the way in the point at the very front. But each is upon the windows of their own eyes, and neither can be stuck within the body or stuck apart from it, while we must balance this and that in all things in love and faith and structure for all beings the best each of us can. We cannot serve our best when we are broken and without structure, while that is the greatest moment of all, where within that chaos, then anything can be possibly made from that prima materia to benefit all beings, and for us each and individually to become that flag of America, more so to gain our identity together and apart and for self, while maintaining the balance and boundaries therein. With love and grace, happy April Fool's Day. No joke.